History only happens once, but for Dr. Todd Olson and this Lynchburg women's soccer team, storybook success has become a yearly aspiration. Today, Coach Olson sits just one win shy of 500, an achievement restricted only to the great masterminds of the world's game. The window remains open as the hometown Lynchburg Hornets play host to Cilia de Diego and the Averett Cougars. Hi, everybody. Evan Gates alongside my good friend Ethan Maratsky. You don't get this opportunity every day. We know Coach Olson in his 31st season has such a special accomplishment sitting in front of him, and it's really good opportunity to get it done.
Yeah, like you said, 500th win, that's not just special in Lynchburg history, that's special in collegiate NCAA history. And I'm not just talking Division III, I'm talking Division II, Division I. This is such a special accomplishment, and he is easily one of the greatest coaches in collegiate women's soccer history.
Well, he's someone who will also deflect a lot of the praise onto who is on this team. We know the success doesn't happen just with the coaching staff. It's the players, it's everybody involved, and it has been such an impressive resume from everybody who has been involved in the process. This is, of course, the 2014 national champion Lynchburg Hornets looking to get back to that national stage. A good opportunity today against a good Averett team, 3-6-2 on the season, and this is an offense that has stayed hot, Ethan.
Yeah, like you said, their offense is doing really well. They've won 2 of their last 2 games. They're on a 2-game win streak. Going to see what the defense comes up with here. They've been struggling a little bit. As we look at the team comparisons, most of the offensive categories are pretty similar. We look at 1.82 goals per game, 1.83 for Lynchburg, 11.2 shots per game, 13.9 for Lynchburg. But when you look at the defensive stats, 7 clean sheets for Lynchburg. Goalies have been doing well. Defense have been playing really well, but only 1 for Averett. And then you take a look at the goals against average, 2.82. Lynchburg going to be looking to take advantage of that today.
Well, a clean sheet in every victory for Lynchburg this season, and it just shows how poised this defense can be. Haley Casey and Claire Lloyd, 2 of those members of that back line for Lynchburg, will start their 75th match as a Hornet today, and the consistency has been rolling on season to season. We also look at this Lynchburg team, and we know it took them a little while to get on their feet early in the season, but they have stayed hot recently, and especially in conference play. Not a loss on the tally yet because that Washington and Lee result earlier in the season was non-conference.
Yeah, Hornets entering this game with their offense looking the best that it has all season. I mean, they've been outscoring their last 2 opponents 6-0 in, again, the last 2 games. And then when you look at the Randolph team, with the Averett team, both the Lynchburg Hornets and the Averett Cougars going up against Randolph in their last games. Averett was a makeup game, won 2-1, went down 1-0 pretty early in the first half, had to fight back, drew some offense together, and ended up winning 2-1. And then you go to the Lynchburg side, winning 4-0 against Randolph, just complete utter domination. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Averett, again, coming off of a 2-win streak. They're going to try and get a win here away at Schellenberger Field, which is always, again, we state this every single time at a home game. It is not easy to win here at Schellenberger Field.
Well, especially 3 matches in 5 days for the Averett Cougars, also a tough task to complete. They have won the first 2, a chance to complete the triple. They'll have to really stay true to their playing style, though, if they want to get it done. And we'll take a look at some of the keys to success and see how they can figure out the puzzle. For Averett, it starts with just playing physical. This is a Lynchburg team that struggles when they don't have the energy early. We've seen a few starts throughout the season where they have struggled in the first 10 minutes. And so for Averett as well, having just 1 clean sheet, you got to make sure it's about spotless early in the match. Make sure Lynchburg doesn't have any room to advance. For the Hornets, it's about control in the midfield. This Averett defense has certainly struggled this season, and we know Lynchburg likes to run at a high rate. They get up the field, and they have the speed on the wings to do so, as well as keeping the stove hot. Madeline Boyce and Morgan Oliver continuing to increase production. Oliver with a pair of goals last time out. We know these 2 teams are ready to go. They got the firepower to do so as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, like you said, Morgan Oliver with 2 goals against Randolph. If you're Lynchburg, you have to go into this game with some type of swagger. Lynchburg yet to lose a game against Averett. So going into this game, having some confidence, knowing that you, obviously in the past, have had a large chance of beating this Averett team. But Averett's not going to let go. We're going to see a fantastic soccer game here from both these teams.
A 4-0 win last time out versus Averett, as you see Morgan Oliver on your screen, one of the sensational sophomores on this Lynchburg squad. They have plenty of personnel to do the rest. It's going to be a very fun affair here in the heart of ODAC play throughout this women's soccer season. A chance for something special on Schellenberger Field. We will be back momentarily after the anthem as we get set for 90 minutes of Lynchburg soccer.
Get your career in the game by enrolling in the University of Lynchburg MBA program with an emphasis in sport management. This program opens the doors to new possibilities for a variety of careers, from being an athletic director or working in athletic administration to working for professional organizations, your favorite team, to running a local Parks and Rec department. And employers are increasingly requesting and preferring individuals who have postgraduate education, specifically looking for an MBA. And so the University of Lynchburg Sport Management concentration in the MBA program sets you up for success, and it sets you apart from the many other people looking for jobs in the industry. Learn from winners. Here you will learn from professors and mentors who have spent their careers doing exactly what you want to do. Increase your marketability in an $83 billion industry. If you have a 3.0 GPA, the GMAT is waived. There's no application fee, admissions occurs on a rolling basis, and our online program is ideal for working adults. When you enroll in this program, you enroll in the opportunity to learn from the best of the best. Your professors have a wealth of experience working in the sport industry that they share with you in the classroom setting. Get in the game by getting your MBA with a sport management concentration at the University of Lynchburg. You know, Hollywood, here I come. Hey, I meant, yeah.
The real Lindsay Piper's here.
Autographs there later.
Cheer for the stumbles. That he should have had that. And the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There, you will find the provoked, the determined, the unified. It's in those moments that champions are born.
My name is Davion Washington Jr. I have the honor of serving as the student body president. I have 5 little siblings. I'm the oldest of 6 siblings, and they look up to me. I'm setting the tone. I get to develop myself, make myself a better individual, but also I'm helping future generations, not even my family, but just future generations in general. I found my passion here. I found, the love for what I want to do. I just really had an amazing time here. It's changed, my outlook on life. You don't have to be famous to change lives. You don't have to be on the big screen or whatever. I change lives now, and I hope to continue to do that. Just same way that the University of Lynchburg has changed my life for the better.
At the University of Lynchburg, we've lowered our tuition, so you get a better value for a great education. Come see our campus for yourself.
Welcome back on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network. The Hornets and the Cougars are fresh 90 minutes ahead of us. Evan Gates and Ethan Morotsky will take you through this one, and a pair of ODAC foes that are familiar with each other. Obviously, Averett just joining the conference a couple years ago, but this is a matchup that these two teams are very familiar with. We know Lynchburg has certainly dominated in the past. The Cougars got to get off to a quick start.
Yeah, like you said, Averett just joining the ODAC a couple of years ago. We've obviously, most sports here have played Averett. They're always going to be a competitive school, but now that they're joining one of the better conferences in relatively every sport here in Division III sports, it's going to be interesting to see how they match up against, like you said, a powerhouse of Lynchburg women's soccer. 2014 national champions. We can't stress enough how amazing that is for Coach Todd Olson and the players, not just from 2014, but how that affects the players now.
Well, let's go ahead and look at those hometown Hornets. They have a change in goal today. Kate Shepard, the junior from Virginia Beach, Virginia, gets her 5th start of the season, continuing to build confidence. We know Meredith Bowers out just for a slight amount of time. We're looking for her return later in the season. The rest of the Hornets are as follows. It's McKenna Dom, Haley Casey, Morgan Oliver, Alora Grokowski, Lauren Orner, Sammy Rogstad, Claire Lloyd, Madeline Boyce, who continues to perform, 6 goals to her name this season, Liliana Siragoyen, and Ella Irons. This is a Hornet squad that has so much firepower, and Ethan, they'll look especially to the wings to try to advance.
Yeah, Lynchburg loves playing out wide and playing balls into the box after they can continue to go towards the corner. We're going to see how they do against this Averett defense that is struggling. We're going to see how much firepower they really have. They're going to keep pushing at the goalkeeper. They had a ton of shots against Randolph, just pelleting the keeper, 19 of them on goal, 35 shots in total. So it's going to be really fun to watch this Lynchburg team play against this Averett defense, and we're going to see how Averett's defense can bounce back after a struggle to start their season off.
We'll certainly have to control the defense in that back line, and it starts with being anchored by number 99, Tia Kroons, in goal, the sophomore from Helsinki, Finland. Rest of the lineup for the Cougars is Haley Uhas, Clarice Peters, Candace Johnson, Isabel Sim, Isabel Evans, Celia De Diego, one of the best in program history, Leah Brethren, Mackenzie Overly, Rayleigh Smith, and Erica Lindstrom. A beautiful blue sky here in the Hill City. We're up and running. The Hornets in the home whites moving right to left and immediately giving the ball away as the Cougars try to shake things up in the midfield. That's a big piece to the assignment today.
We talk about the goalkeeper for Averett's soccer team, Tia Kroons from Finland. That's one of the things that's so amazing about ODAC sports in general, is that they get pull from everywhere, not just the country, but the world.
And different schools have those different recruiting pools. There are 7 international players on this Averett squad. So much diversity as this ball is threaded through just offsides. Lynchburg almost had its first opportunity of the contest and immediately starting to see the field opening up. We saw Morgan Oliver, someone who was not afraid to shoot from outside the 18-yard box, had another one against Randolph that felt like it was from outer space.
Yeah, like you said, that's encouraging play for Lynchburg to start off the match. Maybe a couple passes here and there could have gone better, some timing issues there, but it's really encouraging for this Lynchburg offense.
Averett wants to use their defense and their back line just to control the ball game. That's going to be important against Lynchburg, a team that really wants to run. As Uhas is in the midfield, looks to thread it through. Few deflections, and Lynchburg already looking to run. You see Madeline Boyce advancing. A Hornets squad that has continued to find its footing in ODAC play. If you looked at it last season, a very similar blueprint. Did not lose a contest in ODAC play until that ODAC semifinal versus Washington and Lee. Very similar setup this season.
Going to see a lot of pressure coming from the Hornets on and off the ball to start the game here.
Irigoyen played it wide. Grokowski, a little give and go. We'll see if the cross happens. Great move from Irigoyen to thread it through. Kroon sees this one the whole way, but it is another good opportunity for Lynchburg, picking up right where they left off versus Randolph.
Irigoyen, your senior midfield, ultimately your most experienced player, one of your most experienced player on the team, somebody we look for every single game to see how she can impact and just special things that she can do in the midfield and upfield.
She is playing such good soccer this season, and we have continued to see the evolution on that far side of the field between Irigoyen and Grokowski. A pair of high school teammates, if you go all the way back to their days at Granby.
That goes down to recruiting, too. Coach Todd Olson doing a fantastic job bringing in, like you said, 2 high school teammates, knowing that they're going to play well together back then and now here on this Lynchburg team.
You talk about difference makers. It a lot of the times goes back to what you can offer that other people can't. And when you look at this Lynchburg team, so much diversity in the skill sets. Irigoyen and Grokowski just so quick with their feet and has made a difference throughout the season as Boyce looks to move up the field. Irons on the outside, taps it in. This one goes out for a Lynchburg corner, a quick one. Just after a few minutes of play, the Hornets can set something up.
And we talked about it at the beginning of the game. Lynchburg loves playing it out wide, and so there's just so much diversity that they can do. They can use their pace to drive down into the corner. They can cut in, maybe take a shot on goal, find an extra pass, and ultimately leads to a corner, and we're going to see a Lynchburg opportunity here.
Oliver for a second took a few steps away from that corner as Dom was just resetting it. Now she'll send it in. Line drive that finds its way into the right spot. Took a deflection. No, looks like it's off the Hornets. So it will be a goal kick for Kroons. Another good opportunity for Lynchburg, knocking on the door early.
They're just going to do whatever they can to stack up opportunities, and eventually they're going to hope that one of them can go in and see if they can get an early lead here against the Cougars.
Certainly got to keep your composure if you're Averett. This is a squad led by first-year head coach Colton Duchess, hired in June of 2024. As this shot from Boyce threads through, not a threat against the Cougars. Going back to Duchess, obviously 3-6-2 at Averett during his career here in this first season, but he's returning to his alma mater and was previously an assistant for the men's program. And so it's just so cool to see the thread that you have, especially with a school in the ODAC. You can stick around and make a difference. We know Colton Duchess has certainly done that early. This ball gets out on the far side. It's a throw for Casey and the Hornets. This is an Averett squad that also does not have any assistant coaches. You don't see this very often on a team's coaching staff. That's at least listed at the beginning of the year, so some late additions might have come into the picture. But this was a late hire, and Averett is making some noise. Here's Boyce on the far side, lifts it, hits the net, just the wrong side of it. Another good breakaway chance.
There's that pressure by the Hornets that you love to see as Coach Todd Olson is clapping on the sidelines here. The amount of pressure that they're putting on this Averett defense, they know that they've been struggling in the first part of this season, so they're going to do whatever they can to play off of Averett's mistakes. Obviously, Lynchburg great on the ball when they have it on offense, but if you can play off of the mistakes that Averett's going to make, that's just going to up your opportunities of taking a lead here.
Makes the game a little bit easier when you can capitalize. This is an Averett squad that had a clean sheet in its season opener. Was a 0-0 draw versus Berry. They have allowed a goal in every contest since. But obviously a lot of different games and a lot of different opponents. You got to put it behind you and hope for different in this one. Now the Cougars still looking to advance as Casey fields it on a weird hop. Now the Hornets look to advance the other way. Pass tries to escape. Claire Lloyd, a few quick steps to regain possession, and now Lynchburg once again opening up the space. Here comes Irons. Boyce gets it in a dangerous spot. She's going to thread this one through to Irigoyen on the far side. Here comes trouble. Lynchburg trying to cook. The pass into the middle. Orner goes to the turf. Better defense from Averett just to temporarily take the momentum away. Here's Irons. Round two, left foot goes to Kroons, but it's two-handed clean gather, and the Cougars can send it the other way.
Really nice sequence there from both teams. Again, Lynchburg taking advantage of an error from the Cougars. Gets across into the goal. Doesn't eventually go their way. A really nice tackle there from Averett. Leads to Lynchburg still retaining the ball, getting another opportunity. So really good sequence from both teams there.
Dom just inches away. Lynchburg can taste it now. Lots of opportunities. They are using the middle of the field more than we have seen them throughout this season. It just shows some of that possession in the midfield. Lynchburg, a team that has continued to establish their energy and momentum throughout the season. This is a squad that has so much culture, and when we talk about Coach Todd Olson in his 31st season, 29 winning campaigns here at Lynchburg, you understand the precedent has been set. You just got to deliver the personnel to keep it rolling. Now Lloyd tries to thread this one through, hops over Irons. She'll use her side on the near touchline, doing everything she can as the Cougars putting up a good fight. We saw Brethren stay in the right spot. Here's Celia De Diego going to the turf. She earns the call for the Cougars. Let's talk a little bit about the senior forward. 7 goals and 4 assists this season, and all ODAC second team selection in 2023. But the accomplishments extend beyond just 1 year. We mentioned earlier the program leader in goals and points now. She just constantly poses a threat when she's out on the turf.
Yeah, like you said, 7 goals this season. One of them came against Randolph earlier this week. Helped Averett get back into the game against Randolph to ultimately give them the win. So it's somebody that you're looking on, not just Averett's lineup, but she would be someone you look forward to in every single lineup here in the ODAC.
Such a valuable piece to this Averett offense. That was a match versus Randolph where it really felt eerie early on. Averett conceded in the 61st minute before Celia De Diego and Isabel Evans led the charge to take the lead in the 87th. Tia Kroons was also a big presence in that one, 7 saves for the Cougars. They look to field that momentum again and maybe be able to accomplish 3 wins in 5 days. A tough test against Lynchburg, and early on, the indication is that the Hornets are not afraid to strike.
And yeah, like you said, for the first time this season, the Cougars have won back-to-back matches, so they're going to need to ride every bit of momentum going into this game at Schellenberger.
Irigoyen, good touch, crosses it in. Irons goes down to the turf. No call. Referee says it's not enough, and it was a dire need for Averett just to get contact in the box. Looked like it was Smith who took care of business and kept Irons off of that pass. It was a great placement from Irigoyen. Maybe just a touch behind Irons, but right where you want it. Lynchburg looks for the answer again.
Saw a little bit of contact on that play, but ultimately not enough for the referee to blow the whistle.
Here is Morgan Oliver. We talked about it in the open. She will shoot from anywhere on the field. The green light has been bright and shining for the sophomore. This time it doesn't work.
Just adds more diversity to their offense. I mean, they can really do it all from inside and outside.
And it's just so discreet as well. Doesn't always look like she's going to wind up. Kroons has pressure as Boyce could have maybe made a run at it. Clearance just goes out on the far side, and Lynchburg's back in business here in the attacking third. They made a residence there to start this match. Touch inside. Irons was in the area code, not close enough. Ella Irons getting the start today. She has been a very big piece of what Lynchburg's trying to accomplish when you look at the wings and the speed. 2 goals to her name this season, as there's a good hustle from Sammy Rogstad. Once again goes back to the keeper.
Really good idea there from Rogstad, trying to get that touch over to the corner, beat both the defenders that are there for Averett. Just a little too heavy of a touch, and ultimately it goes towards Averett's way.
You can tell this Averett team is really keeping the defense sturdy. Can't have any holes against Lynchburg, and especially when you look at some of the runs they're making out wide. Already a few through balls that have almost connected. Lynchburg still searches for goal number 1. Cougars with a throw. Near touchline, Lloyd saw it momentarily. De Diego just lets it go, and the Cougars can advance a little bit. Move the chains, much like the other type of football out there. We'll see if Averett can just creep into that attacking third. They've struggled to find it so far, and that's why Lynchburg has just been a step ahead. Here comes the attack. Boyce tries to thread it through. Irigoyen might have found it if Warner didn't have that quick touch. The alarm bell's starting to go off as Lynchburg tries to find the offense. Ball into Boyce, and now the pass will go out wide to Irigoyen. One-on-one in the corner. She does enough to get the step forward. Lynchburg working to the box. Here's McKenna Dahm. Step to her right, fires just barely outside.
Really nice play there from Irigoyen, driving into the corner, faking out the defender, figuring out a way to get into the box, passing the ball towards the middle, giving a really good opportunity there for McKenna Dahm to take a shot on net.
McKenna Dom, someone who doesn't always show up on the stat sheet, but she is constantly making a difference for Lynchburg in the midfield. Here's Rogstad, the freshman, looking to do something with it. Nice footwork, just a little too much, but Lynchburg can regain now. Dom back out in front. The Hornets' transition has been lethal. The attack doesn't take long to formulate. Boyce gets it in the middle of the field. Kroons is a nice save. Wow, that was high velocity from Lauren Orner.
Really good there from both teams. Amazing passing from Lynchburg to find the availability and the openness to get that shot off on goal. And a really nice save from Averett. It's really encouraging to see the defensive struggles, but you know your goalkeeper has the ability to play that well.
Well, we've seen Tia Kroons throughout the season. She's been tested before in her 5th start. 11 goals allowed, 27 saves on 88 shots this season. What can Lynchburg do to find the right puzzle piece? Seems like they're doing it all right so far. Maybe a matter of time as Morgan Oliver advances forward. Once again met by that Cougars back line. Now Lynchburg really pressing forward. Averett can try the counter. Haley Casey's just a little bit stronger as De Diego can't do much. That's the battle we might watch throughout this contest. One of the best when you look at the offensive categories in the ODAC versus one of the best defenders. Here's Irons trying to thread it through. Warner, another touchback clearance. The Hornets just relentless in possession. Now Irigoyen on her horse on the far side. Lynchburg still probing. Cross goes in. And now Averett finally with the clearance they've been waiting for. Celia De Diego, she has the talent and certainly has speed. It will just be a question of can Averett get the numbers up the field that they need.
Haley Casey's just a nuisance on defense for attacking teams. She's so quick and she's so physical. She's not afraid to run at the attacker and take that ball away from you.
Can't be afraid of contact. Haley Casey, the former All-American, has just about seen everything here in this D3 landscape. She looks to make it another big season for Lynchburg. Here's Irons, ready to fire. Oh, greased the pipes on the far side. Second opportunity, Lynchburg rattles one through. Madeline Boyce breaks in a beautiful opportunity. Goal number 7 of the season for the junior. And in another opportunity where Lynchburg just kept piling the passes in, Boyce finally connects.
I mean, in that play, it's all about never giving up. Lynchburg, first shot hit the post, goes towards the corner. Irigoyen never lets up. She runs down, chases the ball, gets a really nice cross and a really nice deflection shot from Madeline Boyce to take a 1-0 lead.
The leading scorer on this roster with goal number 7. She has just been so impressive. A goal versus Virginia Wesleyan, a goal versus Randolph. Well, make it 3 straight. She might be in business again. Irons pass in the area. Irigoyen giving chase on the far side, but the flag is up. Erase that opportunity. Madeline Boyce, when you look at last season, just 1 goal. She has certainly come out with a different firepower. And it just feels like that's exactly what this Lynchburg team has needed. They're looking for the attackers up front who can deliver on the passes. She has been time and time again ready for the big moment.
So much of this offense drives from Ella Irons on the left. She's not only is she one of the taller players on the field, but she's got speed, she's got pace, and she can dribble around defenders, and she does whatever she can, and it looks like they're driving this offense through her so far in this first half.
You certainly get the sense that Coach Olson is confident with what she has done on the wing, and obviously you're constantly running on the near side or far side of the field, but It just feels like she's always ready to shoot as well. Boyce tried to misdirect. Who wants it in the midfield? It's back to 24. Lynchburg's got an opportunity. Now Irons, round two, trying to test Kroons. Gallops into the gloves. It's just a quick hit to punch it down.
Really encouraging stuff here from the Hornet offense. We talked about how they love driving down the wings to gain some offense, but they're doing whatever they can in the middle of the midfield too.
Irigoyen plays this one in. Lynchburg really controlling not just possession, but the score line and certainly the momentum. Ball has stayed on the left side of the field thus far. The Hornets waiting to add to the tally. Cougars have really just had to stay pinned back. What can their defense do as this cross goes in, stays in the box? Oliver's waiting for it. And finally the clearance. Lynchburg will have an opportunity to throw long if they elect to. Looks like Ella Irons is running to that near touchline. This one fired, and the header goes over. Won't matter, another offsides call.
That was a really nice cross there from Ella Irons. Found the open woman in the box, ultimately offsides, but really, really nice vision there from Ella Irons, number 28.
This team looks so much more composed offensively. You look at some of the games early in the season, and obviously it does take time to figure it out offensively, but what a chance Lynchburg has to keep some of that energy. A 4-goal affair versus Randolph, the most they've scored all season. Looking like they are very hungry in this one. Averett getting its money's worth on defense. Stout performance so far, just one miscue. The problem for Coach Duchess and the squad is that it's in the first 20 minutes. Ball played forward. De Diego got her body on it. She has some strong sense for the ball, and you just can tell she is constantly looking to move forward.
The one thing Lynchburg loves to do is play out of the back, and maybe that's something De Diego is looking forward to. Maybe it's something that she's going to do or possibly look at to try and make Lynchburg have a mistake and see if she can get one other goal this season.
See another look at the goal from Madeline Boyce. And just another example of Lynchburg sticking with the plays, making them happen, as Ella Irons found the post on the far side. Madeline Boyce gets goal number 7. Here comes Abigail Poole for the Cougars. The freshman from Yorktown, Virginia, already 2 goals this season. Looking to add to that tally, and the freshman on this Averett squad already starting to contribute. Another one in the starting lineup, Isabel Sim, the freshman from Norway. Hornets trying to play it out the back door. Irigoyen ready to run. Ball played forward and just escapes a little too quickly.
Lynchburg all first half have been looking for the pace from their wingers and even their midfielders to just drive past the defenders of Averett and find an open pass. So far they've done pretty well, but Averett hanging in there.
Won back-to-back games for the first time this season coming into this contest. This is a squad that just has to maintain its confidence because before that it was a 5-game skid. And in those 5 losses, they were outscored 22-3. So just a tale of 2 different types of energy. Averett trying to keep everything optimistic against one of the better teams in the ODAC.
Saw that ball catch a little bit of hand there, but no call from the referee. He's going to let it play on. Averett doing a really good job to hold possession here.
Still looking for that first quality opportunity. De Diego trying to thread it through. There was the run that was established, just not the right people in the picture. Here comes Ella Irons. So much space in that midfield right now. You see the fresh green ahead. Irons will do what she can just to send it forward. Quick look on the far side. Overly watching Irigoyen as she threads it to her right foot. Kroons has a nice save. Good offense and better goalkeeping for the moment Lynchburg still held off of the scoreboard as they search for goal number 2. Liliana Sirigoyen, someone who has broken and established her presence this season. 2 goals, 2 assists, tying those columns from 2023. And still a lot of soccer to be left here this season.
Absolutely. One of the more important, I don't want to say more important, but definitely one of the most important players on this Lynchburg roster.
A mainstay in the starting lineup as Irons threads this one through. Kroons once again gathers. Distributes on the far side. Dom was giving chase. And right back to it. Here's Irigoyen. Fancy footwork on the far side. Crosses this one in, goes over. Front door delivery. And Lynchburg finds goal number 2. No offsides calls necessary. It was a quiet one, but a silencer here in this first half as Lynchburg has been so productive. And you see it right away. Madeline Boyce gets a left foot on it.
Maybe a little miscommunication at the front of the box. Lynchburg finding ways to get the job done, taking a 2-0 lead, something you obviously want to see in a match, but something you want to see even more in the first half of the match.
Tell you what, Madeline Boyce has just been so important for this roster. Also a track star here in Lynchburg. Back in high school, won the 500 and 4x4 state championships. Well, she's getting off to a hot start today and looking to keep it rolling. Sometimes you just throw the ball in the right mix and it's going to pay off. And I think that's the type of offense that Lynchburg capitalizes off of when they can dirty up the box. And Ethan, it just feels like more often than not, Lynchburg is able to capitalize on the opportunities like the 50-50s.
Well, like you said, it's really about posting the ball in the box, finding the pass. And yeah, you want to find the open person in the box to obviously get a shot on goal, but it's more sending it in the box and hoping one of your attackers can find the ball, come towards it, beat the defender, and beat the goalkeeper, and that's exactly what happened there.
Energy and hustle, 2 topics early in the season that Lynchburg certainly had to battle with. How much were they bringing to the table in the big moments? That was a question that many were pondering. But you see plays like this and you see what they're doing in the box. It just feels like a whole different outlook as we creep into October. We know Coach Olson is a very big fan of November soccer. The postseason is certainly his favorite time of year. Well, it starts now with constructing the picture and the identity, as Averett will have its first corner of the contest.
Well, Coach Olson knows what it takes to win in the playoffs. He's done it multiple times. He's won a bunch of ODAC tournaments, obviously 2014 national champion. He knows what it takes, and he knows what players he wants on the field.
A lot of familiarity. This ball played in. Lynchburg does enough just to scuff it out. Wellington on the far side. Strong defense, and Averett still stuck searching. Cougars do get this one back. When we look into the midfield, you got to watch the counter as well. Lauder moving into the middle of the field. She'll connect on the far side, or trying to with Wellington. Averett sniffs it out a little quicker. Uhas. Beautiful ball threaded through. No one on the other end, though, and now Megan Lauder winning it back. The pinball battle continues.
One of the great things about this Lynchburg squad is there is so much depth. There's so many different combinations that Coach Todd Olson can use here that can help win or win a half, score any goals. There's just so many different things that he can do.
Versatility has always been a characteristic of this program, and it does start with depth. It starts with understanding the culture. For Coach Todd Olson, obviously 499 career wins. A chance today for number 500. Began coaching here at Lynchburg in 1994, and what a career he has had, but obviously it starts with the buy-in from everybody else. You win the 2014 National Championship with the most wins in a Division III season at 27. And as they continue to pile up historic seasons, he is now among the top 5 in active coaches when you look at total wins. It will always stick with you, and you understand his direction and leadership have really attracted more people to this program and a lot of support even from some of you watching today.
You said 1994. That's impressive. That's before both of us were even born.
That's right, and it just feels like with the amount of change that this campus has encountered as well, you're going to have so many different landscapes, literally and figuratively, but it certainly goes back to a lot of the alumni, and it's very fitting that it happens on homecoming week if he does get the 500th win. It feels like there are so many pieces to this puzzle that have made a difference. Here's the far side takeaway from Lynchburg. Maybe goal number 3 on the horizon. Another ball played forward. The Cougars just feet away from conceding the third. They get the clearance they need. Now De Diego, essentially one-on-one with Haley Casey, who gets her foot on it first.
That was a really, really nice stop from the Averett goalkeeper, Kroons. Defender came along, cleared it out. That's exactly what you want to see from your defense here if you're Averett. Maybe possibly doing whatever they can to get a counter going on this Lynchburg squad. Trying to find a way back into this match.
Maybe a characteristic that is different from most of Lynchburg's matches. The slower that it's played today, Hornets have had the advantage as Shepard had to watch that shot. For a second it threatened, but it will be a Lynchburg goal kick. Averett is certainly not out of the fight. It's just a 2-goal deficit, but you got to start sooner rather than later.
Well, there's also 60 minutes left to go. There's plenty of stuff that can happen, especially on the 15.5 minutes that we have left to go in this first half. Anything can happen on any given opportunity.
You saw a look at Kate Shepard, sorry Ethan, somebody who has really made a difference, and obviously she's going to have to be crucial against this Averett offense because sometimes you get caught napping in a game like this where you're playing so much offense and it makes it that much tougher.
Well, that's where your star players come in handy. De Diego looking for, like we said earlier, looking for the opportunities that the defense makes a mistake for Lynchburg.
Wellington kept that ball on the ground. Here's round 2. Another one that goes in the box. Phillips got a right foot on it. Looks like a Cougar is down. Strong encounter. Phillips, the freshman from Whitesboro, New York, starting 4 of her 11 appearances this season. So many athletes on this field for both teams have history in multiple sports. Hannah Phillips is one of them. Soccer, track, and dance in high school. Interesting enough, we just talked about Kate Shepard in goal for Lynchburg. She's somebody else who has a lot of experience. Also a field hockey and basketball player back in her high school days.
It's always good to look at multi-sport athletes in recruiting because it just adds that level of athleticism from your players, especially with somebody like a goalkeeper who has to move around a lot.
A lot of discipline necessary to juggle all the different sports, the different practices. Even some of the athletes on the field competing in multiple collegiately when we look at Madeline boys. Ball played in. Kroons snaps this one down, but the ball is loose. Hornets probing. Olsen sends it to the far side. Will it be too far? No. Rogstad got to it, and looks like the call is offsides.
Really nice punch out there from Kroons. Lynchburg trying to get on the end of it. Nobody really there. Had to reset the play. Found themselves offsides. A nice breather for this Averett squad.
Sometimes if you're a coach, you don't want the offsides calls to start stacking up. Obviously, ill-discipline. You're going to make sure that you have your runs timed well, but for Lynchburg today, it just feels like with the number of reps they're getting, you're bound to have a few, as this one looks like it hit the hand of Wellington. Doesn't matter. Goes back to De Diego.
See a little bit of pinball there.
We've seen that a lot today as well. It just feels like, especially with Averett trying to clear, Lynchburg has really cluttered a lot of that attack, and I think it's played well for them when we look in the box. Now the Cougars down that far side, and Casey catches up again.
Lynchburg midfield and defense, they've done so well this game, snuffing any opportunity that Averett has, blocking off some of the passing areas that they can go to. It's just constant pressure here from the Hornets.
This might be a good chance. De Diego got her foot down on it. A couple of bounces as it finds its way to Shepard, and that's an example of why, despite Averett's defensive struggles, they still find ways to get goals. It starts with Celia De Diego, and she is a very important threat. Here's Hannah Phillips. Footwork to bring it out wide for Lynchburg. They're awaiting the cross. Now Lauder sends it forward. One-on-one with the goalie. Empty space in the middle of the field, and Lynchburg has goal number 3. Ava Olsen connects. And one of the better opportunities you'll see all season long, as the window was wide open. Goal number 1 for the freshman from Ashland, Virginia. Already an assist on the season, and look at that. Time, space, and quality for number 11.
2 really good passes that led up to Ava Olsen. Kind of caught the defense napping there. 2 players in front of the goalie, not really being marked by anybody.
Well, Averett's fight just got a little bit tougher. We saw an opportunity from De Diego on one side, and really a minute later, Lynchburg finds themselves up 3. Casey, strong challenge, and somehow the ball still finds its way inside the green. Now Lauder looks to advance. Olsen, maybe a little too hesitant in possession that time, as De Diego trying to push forward.
The ball loves Haley Casey, and she loves the ball. It just looks so great at her feet, and she is not afraid to do anything with it.
Just feels like a magnet out there, and at the center of this Lynchburg defense, she is not restrained to a certain part of the field. Lynchburg's defense always moving around and weaving, and we know a lot of different teams will do that, but with how often Lynchburg's backs run up the field, you got to feel confident, and whoever is anchoring that back line, Haley Casey, is constantly moving. This ball is a good look for Lynchburg, but it goes all the way back to Kroons. Just under 12 minutes in this opening half. Lynchburg has dominated possession, and they have started to find the scoreboard. Rogstad trying to add on. Here comes the freshman. Moves out wide. Cross in the box. Deflected corner. Beautiful isolation from Sammy Rogstad, somebody who has also come into the picture, another freshman with an immediate impact, the freshman from Aldie, Virginia. The second most minutes on the team, Ethan. You don't always see that from a freshman.
Yeah, it's something that you really look for when it comes to recruiting, somebody that can make an impact, obviously in the future for your program, but you're looking for people that can make impacts right away, and that's somebody that has really done that for this team.
She does everything. Set pieces, corners, you name it. Wellington threads this one in. Ball goes right back. Might be a second opportunity. Wellington now out to Lauder. With space, trying to cross it in. This is going to be a throw deep in Averett territory.
Really good clearance there. Gives your defense a little bit of a breather. Allows you time to figure out what you want to do on this defense, who's going to mark who, where the goalkeeper needs the position.
A lot of the question marks have started to become answers at this stage of the season for the Hornets. A lot left to play. The ODAC is just getting started. Washington and Lee and Randolph-Macon currently occupying the top spots. Lynchburg sits in third. But so much left to play and left to discover. Maddie Olson feeds it outside. Rogstad looks to cross this one in. It's a good one. Ava Olson, a better touch. Phillips, ooh, just a little late. Wasn't sure if she was on sides.
Really good decision there by Kroons to come out and take that ball away. Sweeper keeper, giving your defense a little bit of leeway, allowing the defense to kind of move around and see what they can do towards this Lynchburg offense, finding which person that they can mark here.
A lot of adjustments. They're doing them well, but still finding a 3-goal disparity at this stage of the contest. 3 subs for Lynchburg. They are Tegan Casey, Katie Paulette, and Anna Zirkel. So a lot of changes here late in the first half. You'll see some different personnel get involved, and that's what you want late in the season. This is an Averett squad that has a considerably smaller roster than this Lynchburg team. Any way you cut it, it's going to work out either way as long as you have 11 faces, but we have seen a lot of consistency from the Cougars, and maybe that's the way to do it as you go into November.
Well, we talked about it earlier. Lynchburg has so much depth on the bench, and when you're up 3-0 in a game, this is a perfect time to see what depth can step up, possibly extend the lead, possibly help keep the lead. And when you're looking at the Averett squad, not as much depth on the bench like you said, but coming into the close of this first half, it's almost like you have to score a goal here to possibly get some momentum here in going into the second half to close down this lead that Lynchburg has.
Right now, the way that Lynchburg has possessed in this first half, it's likely going to have to come via a counterattack opportunity. Here's some contact on the near side. Whistle blown as Abigail pulled it a little too much, and a free kick on its way for Lynchburg. We really haven't seen a lot of contact in this first half, and it might just be credit to how much Lynchburg is moving around. Their passes have been crisp, and again, they're really making the field wide.
Yeah, like you said, not a lot of contact, and that leads to not a lot of whistles, so play has been going on a lot.
Lacey Garner sends this one on. Kroons lost it. Heard a whistle, and it's a call before the goal as Riley Wampler was almost starting the celebration for her first goal as a Hornet. We'll have to wait.
Some contact that knocked the ball loose for Kroons.
We've seen a few of those today already, and Lynchburg is capitalizing right on the doorstep. Here's De Diego. Averett has numbers moving forward. The question is, can they convert it into something productive? Lacey Garner, defending Poole. And now Lynchburg's defense with numbers as Olson takes it away. Now Katie Paulette, one-on-one. Johnson gets this one back. A lot of isolation here late in the first half. Who wants the next strike? We'll have to wait and see. Substitutions are the freshman Taylor Burton coming on for Lynchburg, and then Maddie Pedraza entering the contest for Averett. Just under 6 minutes. Glad you're joining us on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network. Evan Gates and Ethan Morotsky setting the scene for what has been a beautiful first half. If you're a Lynchburg fan, it's a pretty one on the scoreboard as well. Weather here in the Hill City at this stage of the fall, you just really don't know what to expect. It's been a windy one here today in Lynchburg. All things considered, though, sun is still shining. It's a great day on Schellenberger.
Well, it's been really nice to get some sun. Lately, we've had storms down in Florida that have come up here, brought a lot of rain here in Lynchburg. So it's really, you love to see sun out here in the Hill City. Every great day here makes it even better. It's a beautiful place.
Hurricane Helene, the first storm to go through Florida, was the reason that Averett's contest versus Randolph got postponed. That's why they played their last game on Monday. So a very quick turnaround, and obviously to have 3 matches in 5 days isn't ideal, but that's how it works sometimes with the ODAC schedule. There will be some much needed rest after this one before Averett gets their next contest at home versus Virginia Wesleyan.
270 minutes in 1 week is already not easy, but to put it in a span of 5 days just makes it even harder, and you wonder, is that one of the reasons why this Averett team is struggling so far in this one? They have so many people that are probably exhausted, physically wearing down this week. You wonder, can something like that change in a span of 45 minutes?
Did help to have their last contest at home, but today driving to Lynchburg and also having to play a pretty stellar opponent. Rogstad feeds this one in. Another great chance for the Hornets, and you're starting to see these connections. It just looks like veteran play from Sammy Rogstad out on the wing. She is so impressive. Riley Wampler got her head on it in the box. No can do, but once again, you just get the sense that Lynchburg is feeling very comfortable in possession, and those opportunities just a little bit easier to come by at this stage of the season.
Yeah, a lot of power on that header, just missing a little bit of the accuracy. If it were on net, you want to think that that was definitely going in.
Paulette trying to keep it on the near touchline. It does go out, so it'll be a throw. Candace Johnson feeds it in. Olsen trying to disrupt plans. Wow, some physicality, and now the Cougars with some space to run. We've seen this one again. Garner gets there first this time. Ethan Lynchburg obviously has 3 goals, 15 shots in this first half. You know, if you're just trying to bite into some of that momentum at halftime, what are you saying if you're Coach Duchess in the Cougars huddle?
Well, lately they've had a lot of physical play the last couple minutes, and it seems like it's been working out for Averett a little bit. Obviously, Lynchburg getting opportunities, but Averett also getting some opportunities, as we're seeing right now, as they're putting their own sort of pressure on Lynchburg. So going into this second half, you really have to focus on keeping that pressure on Lynchburg, not letting them get any momentum back going into the next half. Obviously, there's a 15-minute break into play, so getting that momentum is crucial for both these teams, and it can be a struggle. So for Averett, you want to do whatever you can to get the momentum quicker and keep playing that physical ball that you've been playing the last couple minutes. That's been working a little bit more than it has been in the first 40 minutes of play.
Well, that's a great point. We talked about trying to rough up the style of play as well. When Lynchburg is calculated and running, they are absolutely lethal on the attack. Averett has done better when they've had some of these chances, especially on the counter. Corner for Lynchburg. They'll add to the tally, and here comes Lacey Garner. Sends this one into the box, goes all the way over. Casey went up for it, just couldn't quite field it. And now 80 seconds to play in the first half.
That was a decent cross from Garner. Just found some open space. Couldn't find a Lynchburg attacker, luckily for Averett.
This is a Lynchburg team that has found success in the past. When you look at the ODAC slate, we mentioned no losses in regular season play last year. Well, they held opponents to 5 goals in 10 conference matches. 7-0-3 record. Finding their footing again this year, and it's really a similar part of the season as well. Last year, after losing to Emory, they did not lose again until that semifinal matchup versus Washington and Lee. They've started a small 3-game unbeaten streak, but Ethan, it feels like they've got the confidence to keep it rolling.
Well, in the last 3 games, if this score holds up here in this first half and in the second half, obviously 45 minutes to play, anything can happen. But so far, in the last 2.5 matches, they're 8-0 against their opponents. That is something that is huge going in, continuing ODAC play, and possibly even leading into the playoffs. I know we have a lot of time before the playoffs, but anything that you can get momentum from is so huge in this conference.
Got to pop the net to get on the scoreboard. Lynchburg has done it 3 times in the first half, and on Schellenberger, they're loving every second of it. It's a big-time performance, and especially from the forward, Madeline Boyce. 2 goals in this first half to her name. We'll see if she has a chance for a hat trick in the second set of 45 minutes. But we will be back on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network with some stats and analysis. Coach Olson just 45 minutes away from win number 500.
I learned a lot of valuable lessons playing college football. I never thought about the health benefits of exercise until I actually started to talk to coaches in college. It's not only just for performance, it's for life. My coaches instilled the importance of well-being, not only building up strength, mental health, getting enough sleep, eating properly is all what it is to be healthy. I decided that I want to go on a personal trainer and share my knowledge that I obtained in college about physical and mental well-being.
Welcome to the Campus Recreational Department at the University of Lynchburg. We believe in a student-centered approach to recreation, making sure that all students have fun and engaging activities that promotes wellness, personal growth, and community building.
Our team works to provide a variety of recreation opportunities for all our undergrad and graduate students.
Let's take a look at the different areas of Campus Rec.
Campus Recreation covers all outdoor recreation. Our team offers dozens of trips per semester, maintains recreation facilities on campus, and offers outdoor certificates and leadership training.
Intramurals is open to all students who wants to play on a team. We have men's, women's, and co-ed leagues for each sport we offer.
Those looking for next level competition can join club sports. These are student-led organizations with the support of Campus Recreation. You can join one of our established club sports, or you can start your own with our support.
Campus Recreation offers an excellent amount of opportunities to stay active, make new friends, and develop new skills. We hope to see you soon.
private education is too expensive? Think again. At the University of Lynchburg, you can get a personalized education for the cost of a state school. If you're commuting and you get our top scholarships, you could pay much less. And you get all that without the hassle of giant lecture halls. Our faculty know your name here and do more than just teach. You might even do research together and plan out your next career moves. Every great college has a great city. For Lynchburg, we are near urban areas with lots of restaurants, shopping, and events. Plus, we are one of the top schools in the area. Come see for yourself.
I just wanted to get good grades and to do well. But it also made me realize that I have a lot of career goals.
You're there to get a full college experience, not only participate in your sport, but participate in things outside of that, and it's all about growing as a person.
My coaches have helped me with figuring out who I really am. Their lives are dedicated for us to succeed.
This is the dough. It's wicked cute. It's always so pretty.
My name is Alexis Fabula. I major in criminology and I double minor in psychology and criminal forensics. My favorite part about Lynchburg is the friends that I've come to have. It's helped me come out of my shell more, and it's helped me become the person I am and the student I am. I really enjoyed how small the campus was, and I also really enjoy how small the class sizes are. It made me feel like I was going to be more engaged than I would at a bigger campus. If someone was on the fence of coming to the University of Lynchburg, I would definitely love to sit down and have a conversation with them because I'm forever grateful that I made this choice. It's definitely something that a student wouldn't regret. Out of my 4 years here, I've not had one bad experience. I've had a great 4 years, and I'm going to be very sad to go.
This video isn't about me. It's about the limitless possibilities that the University of Lynchburg allows me to be. An athlete, an artist, an adventurer, a writer, a believer, a human. Because what I love about the University of Lynchburg is that they have a saying, here we're home. And honestly though, I think a better fit would be a home for everyone. Because it doesn't matter the color of your skin, the person you love, the God you pray to, the pronouns you use, the city you're from, the language you speak. University of Lynchburg gives you the greatest opportunity they can for you to be the absolute best version of yourself.
Studying in college taught me to strive and be the best athlete I can be, but also the best student I can be. My coaches always made sure that the student comes first, because not everyone's gonna become a professional athlete. so they make sure that we will do great in academic. I knew that would only open the door to my future, and I'm really excited to start my dream program for physical therapy.
Lynchburg is all about you, your ideas, and your goals. We've got one professor for every 10 students, so you can get all the support you need. In the classroom, in the lab, or in nature. You'll learn by putting yourself out there, and we're right there with you.
Be ready for anything, okay? Come on, let's go together! Together, let's go! Come on! Let's go, keep going! Carry this pedestrian. Straight. Straight up, yep. Yeah. Cool. Good one. All right, guys, you see the meat grinder down here? Stay in the boat. Let's go. You done on camera? Oh, what you think of that? Woo!
When creating a sustainable future, your choices matter, even your choice of a college. The University of Lynchburg is the first college in Virginia to go carbon neutral. Our dining hall is Green Restaurant certified. We compost all of our food waste and purchase our electricity from landfill gas. Now we're turning a hazardous lake into a thriving urban wetland. When you choose Lynchburg, you leave a smaller footprint while building a better tomorrow.
Welcome back to the Hill City here on the campus of the University of Lynchburg. Evan Gates and Ethan Moratsky taking you through this one as Lynchburg leads Averett 3-0. Well, the scoreboard will really tell you the story. Lynchburg is dominated in every facet of this game, but it starts with the possession, starts with their confidence. Madeline Boyce right now with a pair of goals, and Ethan, it just feels like the confidence is flowing, not just throughout that starting lineup, but the entire roster.
Well, like you said, it's just complete, utter annihilation from this Lynchburg attack and defense. Defense hasn't really had to do much so far this game. Averett did put a little pressure on at the end of the first half, but overall, Lynchburg's just dominating in possession this game, and they're putting so much pressure on the Averett defense that's already struggling so far this season. So they're playing to the advantages that they're being given by Averett, and so far it's given them a 3-0 start going into this second half.
Well, obviously, you know that having the lead going into the second 45 minutes is going to build a lot of trust, especially with your coaching staff throughout the year. We have seen this lineup just continue to improve, but we will just have to wait and see what Averett has in store here in the second half. We know that they have the right personnel to create some problems. Celia De Diego is one of them who has continued to deliver consistently. But, I mean, even going back to look at the stats from before the game, you can tell that the defense has been the struggle. And, you know, living up to the name today, giving up 3 goals in that first half, that's going to be the question mark as we reach late October and November.
Yeah, and that's what we talked about before the first half ended, is what is Averett going to be able to do to get even the slightest bit of momentum back here in the second half, trying to get something started, trying to get maybe a goal, maybe some couple opportunities that can lead towards a goal in the net for Averett. It's going to be a challenge for them, but we're going to really see what Averett soccer is all about here.
Big test of character as we head into the second half. Lynchburg will break up the huddle and get ready to move on in as Kate Shepard so far 45 minutes of scoreless soccer and goal. This is a Lynchburg team that has earned a clean sheet in every win this season, looking to do it a 7th time. Hornets continuing to play well as Madeline Boyce was on your screen, one of the difference makers time in and time out. Averett starts in the center. De Diego steps over this one.
We talk about the 7 clean sheets that Lynchburg have in all their wins, looking for number 8 right now. A lot of that, yeah, goes towards the goalkeeper, but it doesn't tell you how great the defense has been this year. Lynchburg defense is a very, very big reason why they have so many clean sheets.
Defense does not always show up on a stat sheet either. You look at the goal column, and that will tell you some, but Lynchburg, from a composure standpoint, and having the 3 veterans anchor the back, and Casey, Grokowski, and Lloyd, they just feel like they are always ready. It doesn't matter what opponent makes its way onto Schellenberger.
Some might call them a steel curtain, like throwing back to Pittsburgh's defense.
That's right. I mean, they're just no answers, it feels like. And even seeing some of their attacking abilities, Haley Casey has a goal this year. Laura Grokowski has a few assists. I mean, it's just, there's so much to offer. And obviously, defense does not just limit your ability on the field. You can do a little bit of everything. Boyce sends this one forward. Lauren Orner was sticking nearby. It goes to Irigoyen outside. Just a touch too heavy.
Yeah, going back on the Lynchburg defense, when you have a team like Averett where they have really been struggling on their own defense, but they've been doing well on the attacking half, it gives Lynchburg coaching staff and the players time to figure out what players like De Diego are going to do. It gives you more film, more time to watch and see what they can do to capitalize on the attack that Averett has and figure out the weaknesses that players like De Diego have.
A lot of film to watch. Orner takes a stab at it. Another good save from Tia Kroons. And she was tested big time by the sophomore. We saw what Morgan Oliver tried to do earlier in the contest, a long shot opportunity. Well, Lauren Orner, partner in crime, tries her chance. Now Irigoyen repossesses for Lynchburg. They look in this midfield and send it back.
Fully stretched out save there for Kroons. That's really good athleticism to save that goal from making it 4-0.
Lynchburg will still pound the door. We'll see what they can do in this second half. 4 goals versus Randolph was the most that they've scored in a game this season. Casey just runs out of room on the near side. That pass will make its way past the touchline. Averett has a throw. Haley Casey was the first player to 1,000 minutes this season. She has stayed in the lineup, getting a start just about every single time she's out on the field. Here's Irigoyen. Great cross opportunity, makes her way left. It is a deflection that will earn Lynchburg another corner. Irigoyen almost made that run all the way to the post. So near side, it'll be Sammy Rogstad, the freshman, to make her way to the flag. The lefty has served up some golden opportunities throughout this season. We'll see what the 3 or 4 on the far side can do for Lynchburg. Boyce had space. The header just doesn't connect. was a great run from Lynchburg.
Boyce did a really good job at getting in front of the defender there. Just couldn't get her head on the end of it.
It's almost like the goal earlier in that first half, too. There was just so much space, you almost don't know what to do with it. And sometimes it's not even a product of poor defense. It was just good placement on the corner.
Well, that's like we talked about in the first half, is getting corners and crosses into the box.
Watch out, Madeline Boyce takes another shot looking for her hat trick. Irons now threads it through. Averett gets the clearance. You can't stick around for long against this Lynchburg offense because they just find those quick 1-2 punches that can really leave a sting.
Like I was saying, it's getting balls in from corners and from the corner of from crosses. It's so much of finding the space as when you're passing the ball and relying on your attackers to get into that open space and find the end of the ball.
Another one is Ella Irons. She sends this cross through. Irigoyen couldn't get her foot on it. Who wants it? Lynchburg waiting, and neither can take. Oh, that's another opportunity that will leave the coaching staff just wanting a little more aggression and maybe even miscommunication in the box. The Hornets did have a great cross opportunity.
Well, it looked a little bit like they both wanted the other player to pass it, like they were giving it to each other, letting somebody have the ball when ultimately you kind of just have to go for it and send it and just take your rip on the ball and put it in the back of the net. Maybe situations like that, it's okay to be selfish.
That's right, and a lot of coaches will tell you that as well. I mean, if I'm a forward on this Lynchburg offense, maybe I do want my teammate to take it because when you look at Irigoyen and Boyce and everybody up front, they have been red hot as of late. Irigoyen's touch ushered out. Averett, obviously behind the 8 ball at this stage of the match, but we'll see if they can get a goal back. Starts with 1, and especially looking at some of the upcoming matches, you know the schedule's not going to be easy. Virginia Wesleyan upcoming. Here's Irigoyen. Cross sails over everything, makes its way out to the far touchline.
Lynchburg doing a fantastic job finding their better players on the field, getting them to players like Irigoyen and Ella Irons so that they can do their thing with the ball and dribble into the box, find an open person, pass it to them in the box. Doing whatever they can to get it to them has been such a huge part of this Lynchburg offense.
You see a lot of the professional stats as well when you look at possession or you look at, you know, how much mileage is covered by a player, but even touches. When you see some of these players like Irigoyen, like Irons, you wonder how much of a handprint they're leaving on this game because Irigoyen especially has just had the ball at her feet time and time again. Now the Cougars probing. The midfield has been the big struggle today. Lynchburg has capitalized in a big way. Warner almost had a breakaway. Lynchburg, so far, when you look at their record, has really earned the resume of road warriors, 4-0 on the road and looking to add on throughout ODAC play, but their home record isn't too shabby either. Just 1 loss to Washington and Lee, but still 2 wins, rather, and looking to add and make a 3rd this time.
That game against Washington and Lee was such a great matchup between both the teams. I mean, it went down to the last seconds. Lynchburg down 3-2 going into the last minute, found a way, hit the post, or excuse me, the crossbar. And again, it went down to the last second.
Boyce gets a late deflection. Irons was staying close. You talk about late seconds and the climax and all these antics. Well, Lynchburg creates them at every stage of the contest. If you're looking for a wake-up call, too, if you're the Hornets, it feels like you have had multiple at this stage of the season. And not that you want that. If you are Coach Olson, you might want to pick up a win or 2 from some of those close contests, but you lose to Washington and Lee. You tie Roanoke on this field, maybe a result you think you should have had. It just feels like Lynchburg has been hungry, and they're starting to see these wins now. You wonder if it's going to carry on through late October.
Well, like we talked about, they're so far in the last 2.5 games, and if this one holds up, they're going to be 8-0 or 8-0 against the prior 3 teams they've played.
Warner's shot takes a deflection. It's going to be another Lynchburg corner. Shutout soccer is name of the game. The Hornets have not only defended well, but also had some good goalkeeping contributions. Meredith Bowers and Kate Shepard both had their handprints on the game, so we even saw last time out for Lynchburg, Allie Roberts getting a few minutes. Corner, played into the box, another chance for Boyce, rattles around, it's sticking close, and Kroons makes a valiant dive to keep it out of the box. Wow, it really sat on the line of the 6, and you can tell this Lynchburg offense likes to swarm. They're gonna all go in.
Well, that's the defense that we would have loved to see from Averett in the first half. They were marking their players in the box, doing whatever they could, finding deflections and not letting the deflections from their own defensive players get to Lynchburg. Ultimately just leads towards a clearance, and that's the type of defense we wanted to see in the first half from Averett.
Certainly wonder what was said in that huddle. This is an Averett team that has a few losses throughout the season that obviously do involve some crooked numbers. You look at Washington and Lee, who won the 6-0 victory against the Cougars. And so they've had their backs against the wall at this stage of the season. It's just a question of, can you continue to respond?
I think the last 3 games for Lynchburg, sorry, Evan, it's a confidence booster. It helps them let themselves know that they can win against these bigger teams. I mean, Lynchburg already is a big team in this ODAC, but it shows that they can beat teams that are at the top of not just this conference, but other conferences. It helps them give so much confidence that they can win, and they are one of the better teams that other teams are gonna be playing around the East Coast, really.
Every season has a new addition, too, and you're going to get new players on your roster. It's not always going to be the same bread and butter stuff. I mean, Lynchburg's national championship from 10 years ago is certainly a piece of history, but you even see some of these last few seasons where they've crashed out in the ODAC or just struggled to get to the point, and that feels like a lot of teams will remember the most recent sample. But this Hornets team is much different now, a very different hunger, as Irons took another stab that goes off Kroons. It will be another corner for the Hornets. Number 7 on the day.
Another good sweeping play there by the keeper, Kroons. She's been active all game, obviously, with 3 goals scored by Lynchburg, but 18 shots and 9 of them being on goal. They have peppered her with shots.
Not an easy job, especially if you are a goalkeeper with everybody crashing the box. This one goes over. Rogstad and Boyce were sticking close. Now the Hornets round 2. Orner gets her head on it and in. A 4-piece for Lynchburg and the Hill City. Lauren Orner, another sophomore, showing up and showing out.
Well, this is exactly what just was not supposed to happen for Averett. We talked about it. Going into the second half, you have to do whatever you can to get your momentum first and not let Lynchburg, a team that's up 3-0, get momentum in this second half. And Lynchburg showing out, scoring their 4th goal of the game. That's perfect offense from Lynchburg here in this second half.
Momentum continuing to tumble in Lynchburg's direction. 4 goals, and Lauren Orner adds 1 to the tally. It's her 4th of the season. She's started every match and really just picking up where she left off last year. You'll remember from Schellenberger Field, a goal in the 88th minute versus Washington and Lee, and ultimately set up that final bit of chaos in the last 2 minutes where the Hornets tried to equalize. But in big spots, Lauren Orner has been a big-time player, and she does it once again. Now another corner for Lynchburg and another chance to go back, use the clinical stuff. Remember the practices. We'll see if the connection is on the way.
Well, this is just a great example of how Lynchburg, I mean, their soccer team just loves to step on the gas pedal. They're not going to give you space. You're up 4-0. They're going to want more.
This one threads through and irons. Trying to use her size by the corner. Good battle going on. And, oh, it looks like it will be a goal kick. Ball just escapes the line, but another good chance for Lynchburg. And once again in a great spot, and they're attacking third. The ODAC has continued its full slate of action. A lot of big games coming up, and Lynchburg has their hands full as this shot goes just a little over the crossbar. Morgan Oliver continuing to stay hungry. Next time out, Lynchburg will be playing against Randolph-Macon on Saturday as a part of the homecoming festivities. A lot of fun here on the campus of the University of Lynchburg, but Randolph-Macon, another team that has played well near the top of the ODAC standings. And Ethan, it feels like, despite being the regular season, that is a big-time game on its way.
Well, yeah, absolutely, and it's not just because Randolph-Macon is at the top along with Lynchburg. A win for both teams could switch up so much in the standings, along with the fact that Randolph-Macon is a rivalry for Lynchburg. Every time any sport plays Randolph-Macon here at Lynchburg, you always want to get a win, and there's just some extra bragging rights that you get. So a win against Randolph-Macon will be not just big for the standings, but just for Lynchburg soccer.
Here comes Wellington on the far side. Uses that footwork to try and keep possession on the far side. Cross, can't connect. A lot of traffic, and the Cougars usher it out. You know, it's a good point, too, because talent recognizes talent in the ODAC, and there are so many programs that are just filled with history. And this is a Randolph-Macon squad that will continue to pose problems as Lynchburg will make a goalkeeping switch. Allie Roberts comes into the contest. But it's a Yellow Jackets team that's staying hot. Lauren Brokow comes off of Player of the Week type of performance. Lynchburg adds a 5th to the table, and they are adding on and decorating their performance in the Hill City. Allie Smulik makes it look easy. The freshman from right in town, Lynchburg. I'll tell you what, Ethan, it just feels like when it rains, it pours with these Hornets. Another doorstep opportunity.
Absolutely, and I wouldn't be surprised if Lynchburg, I mean, they're bringing on subs. I wouldn't be completely surprised to see them push up the field again, try and get a 6th goal.
Great chance for Allie Smulik, and to get your first goal as a Hornet always feels good. It feels even better when you might be a little piece of history, as Coach Olson will almost certainly capture win number 500. An Averett squad that's fought valiantly, but this offense for Lynchburg has just been a little too much. Tell you what, the Hornets don't want to hear any conversations about Randolph-Macon. They say, we'll take care of business today and figure out the rest this weekend.
Well, that's something that I harp on every time I'm out here watching one of these games by any sports of Lynchburg, is that the most important thing is, yeah, you want to look at further, like, games down on the future, and they're important, but the most important game is the one that you're playing right now, and Lynchburg doing a fantastic job focusing on this 5-0. And like you said, what a game for Todd Olson to get number 500. Most likely, obviously, 28 minutes, anything can happen in soccer, but what a game, scoring 5+ goals for this Lynchburg team to get number 500 win for your amazing head coach, and not just the ODAC, but the country.
Coach Olson, also a teacher at the University of Lynchburg. Some of those classes in the ex-phys realm, knows a little bit of everything, and is just always looking to give back to this university. It extends beyond the field, too, because every coach will have a niche or a cause that they're looking at and trying to contribute to. Well, Coach Olson has made several trips to places around the world trying to spread this great game of soccer. Here comes Hannah Phillips. Takes a stab. Oh, that one was close. That was curling near the corner. That shot just barely sailing over, and at this stage of the contest here, Kroons has had her hands full.
I mean, this team is just they're not afraid of anything right now. They look so confident, and that's one of the reasons why they're up 5-0. They look like they want it so much more than Averett has this game, and they're not afraid to do anything and do whatever they can to get another one in.
Foot still on the gas pedal for Lynchburg. We've seen the different rotations, all of which have really played well, spread the field. Options are still open as the Hornets are probing in the final 30 minutes of this contest. Lynchburg plays Randolph Macon next time out, and Averett takes on Virginia Wesleyan. Two teams with home games ahead. That can be a good sense of familiarity at this stage. Be able to rest a little bit. Averett, after this trip, will have a little bit of time before they go on the road again. For the Cougars, it will not be until Saturday, October 26th. Or excuse me, it will be, yes, the 26th versus EMU. Lynchburg will be on the road on the 23rd versus Bridgewater.
I think a home game for Averett is something that they need. Play in front of a home crowd, get some momentum going back in the schedule, get yourself a win, maybe start a little win streak going. Obviously, 5-0 is demoralizing for any team, but doing whatever you can as a coach and a player to get the team's momentum back going, get yourself a win streak, maybe make a statement in the ODAC.
Good close play from Lynchburg. Now Casey. Even as one of the main characters on this Lynchburg team, you might see Casey taken out for the final few minutes of this contest. You want to get some new reps in that back line. So we see right now, Ellie Goldberg, one of the freshmen. Averett will earn a throw on that far side.
Well, up 5-0, this is definitely the time where you have to show your depth, show some players that don't get much time, but you also have to take into account that Haley Casey, players like her, they're seniors. The more important players on your team, they're going to leave eventually, and when you're up 5-0 or 4-0, 3-0, it gives you some time to find out who could possibly be the replacement in the future.
Lynchburg will have a lot of questions to answer next year as well, especially with this back line leaving. Casey, Grukowski, and Lloyd, the three names that have almost become synonymous with this Lynchburg success on the women's soccer side. They're all going to be gone, and this is an important conversation for Coach Olson to start having with his staff. It's recognizing, okay, you see somebody like a Sammy Rogstad who's immediately come into this roster and made a difference on defense. Well, you got to find a few others who are just comfortable filling those roles.
Absolutely, and that goes into account with recruiting too. Obviously, you have players that you've been recruiting for the last 2-3 years, or even just last year, that you can have to fill in that void when these players leave. But that also takes into account of how much recruiting you have to do next year. If they're losing 3 players in their back line, that is just that much more recruiting that Coach Todd Olson is going to have to do. And we've seen him do it. Obviously, he's been fantastic. He's going to be able to do a successful recruiting class for this year, next year, the years to come. And that's just something that comes with experience at the head coach job.
A lot of great players have come in with this freshman class this year. And you see some of it on the attack. Someone like Ava Olsen, who got her first goal as a Hornet earlier today. Ali Smulik added another one as well, but certainly does take time to develop. We're going to have to see what this Lynchburg squad is all about, and certainly have to expect another big class will come in with some of the seniors who will be leaving.
Well, adding on to the seniors that are leaving, they're going to want to come. They're going to want to go out with a bang. They're going to want to do it. They're going to win every. They're going to want to win every single game they can. They're going to want to go as far as they can in the playoffs. And I'm not just talking about ODAC play. They're going to want to win the ODAC championship. They're going to want to play in the NCAA tournament.
Just a lot at stake every single season, and it's the same type of aspiration for Coach Olson now as it probably was back in his first season. It's once you build a culture, you have the expectation of going all the way and putting the pieces together. Lacey Garner, line drive. This one collected rather smoothly by Kroons, but wow, had a little bit of zip to that one, salt and pepper.
Yeah, going back to Todd Olson, there's so much culture on this team that we love to see, and we talked about it before the game started. Pre-game rituals, post-game rituals, during-game rituals, everything that they do. We've been here for a couple years. They've done it every single year they've been here. Nothing ever changes, and that's part of a reason where success comes from. When you find something that works, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Keep doing it. Keep doing what makes your team successful.
With the talent that Lynchburg has employed as well, this is an important discussion to monitor. You know that you have a good system, you know it works, and you know it can win ODAC championships. You can't have freshmen coming into the picture thinking that their way is better, or that they're going to try and change how you earn success. It's got to start with recognizing the culture has already been built. And for so many, especially with Coach Olson at the helm, you just know that there is a buy-in collectively. And if you aren't a part of it, then maybe this isn't that right program. And it's just been so much fun to see how Lynchburg has accomplished those feats like ODAC championships. Every program has a different wrinkle. That's just Division III athletics. You love to see how different teams get it done, as a little too much contact in the midfield gives Lynchburg a free kick.
A lot of contact there. That's really the most contact we've seen all game. We haven't really heard the whistle blow that much, other than maybe a couple offsides here and there, but it's really not that much contact against both of these teams.
The free kick has really remained silent throughout this contest. Lynchburg has used its corners very well, as this one popped up in the air. Kroon sees it. Garner once again testing the keeper. Just north of 20 minutes to play. Evan Gates and Ethan Moratsky taking you through this one on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network. Don't forget Code Red Night in the house at 7 p.m. as this Lynchburg field hockey team, nationally ranked, will take on a Roanoke Maroon squad they have never lost to in series history. Ethan, you'll be on the call for that one. It just always feels like Code Red is such a different atmosphere. And yes, it's Schellenberger, it's home, but wow, the Sea of Red is just something special.
You said it 100%. There is nothing like a Code Red game for Lynchburg, here at Lynchburg, whether you're a fan, a parent, a player, or just somebody who chimes in to watch the game. There is nothing like a Code Red game at Lynchburg. Seeing all the fans there on the track, even on this side right in front of us, in front of the press box in the stands. I mean, it is absolutely packed, and there's just nothing like it. The atmosphere is magical.
Tell you what, bring a sweatshirt tonight, because it is getting cold in the Hill City. You know, maybe we're just getting soft, but it does feel like it gets colder earlier every year.
Yeah, no, I can definitely agree with you on that one. The cold temperature kind of jumped on us. It's been pretty warm here, and it's like the last 2-3 days it's been in the 40s, 50s, and I'm not going to lie, as a spring sport athlete, or I was a spring sport athlete, I'm not a fan of this cold weather.
Well, good news for Virginians. The 70s and 80s will be back next week, but you just never know, because that October forecast, you might as well just throw a dart at the board and hope for the best.
Like the cold, you'll have a couple cold days, and you're thinking to yourself, "Is this it? Is the cold weather finally here? Am I going to be freezing soon? Am I going to have to put a couple logs in the fireplace and get warm?" And then it just goes back to warm weather. It goes back to nice, solid 60s, 70s.
So much good stuff in store. Lynchburg making a slew of substitutions. Tegan Casey, Katie Paulette, Megan Lauder, Lacey Garner. Really a big swap now for Coach Olson's squad, and just trying to refamiliarize one another. you have a big roster and you can only play 11 at a time, so you want to build that on-field chemistry as best you can. Lynchburg right now 24 shots in that department to the Cougars 2. Those were both fired in the first half, and so Lynchburg's defense has been almost immaculate here in the second 45 minutes. See what the Cougars can do to try to inject some pace into this offense. We saw De Diego had a few opportunities. You see returning to the field Leah Brethren, the sophomore from Charlottesville, Virginia. Might be a part of what the Cougars try to accomplish in the final 17 and a half minutes. De Diego battling hard in the midfield. She gets that call as Garner is whistled. We looked a little bit at the ODAC table earlier. Well, Washington and Lee is a team to watch. We've seen them on Schellenberger Field earlier this year. They beat Lynchburg 3-2. After dropping their first contest, they have now rattled off 9 straight victories. Not something you want to see if you're an opponent of the Generals. And the ODAC is always competitive, but W&L's playing on another level right now, Ethan.
Well, I think games like this for Lynchburg is something that they have to hold dear to them, showing them that they have the ability, not just the starters, but even players that get subbed on or players that don't find like that many minutes throughout the season. It shows you kind of have to hold on to this momentum and use it for games like W&L, knowing that you can win these games.
Paulette's whistled offsides on the far side. It's a great point because building confidence is not always equal between your starters and your bench players. You want to get everybody on the same page as best as possible, but this Lynchburg team, when they get more players involved, is so lethal, especially with their shooting abilities. There's our cameraman, Micah Adams. We've had some fun in the last few games getting to shout out some of the LHSN crew, and they're always doing a fantastic job. Tell you what, though, it is not the day to be just sitting on the track. It's got to be getting cold. We're going to go back to the temperature talk.
I'm not a fan of it. I have the same opinion. I feel bad for Micah out there because I know like all these players on the field are moving around, but him sitting there, he honestly looks cold out there. And it's not too warm in the press box. We've got a window open here, but this cold temperature, it stinks. I'm not a fan.
The winter, you just never know what it's going to pose as it looms just a few months away. This soccer squad fortunate to be playing through the fall. It's been a beautiful one so far throughout the Commonwealth. Micah Adams on that far side, a member of the newly staffed LHSN crew. So many new faces this year. So fortunate just to be able to bring every broadcast to you as best as possible.
Well, the good thing is that we all love doing it.
That's right. And that's what this is ultimately all about. And it's just been such a fun process, especially with so many great teams with great histories. This women's soccer squad, another one that reinvents success. And they've done it in a big way under Coach Olson. Averett still trying to find the back door. Through ball that Lynchburg will try to catch up to on the far side. Can Averett finally get that cross off? Doesn't matter. It's a throw headed the Hornets' way.
Might have to put a sweatshirt on soon.
That's right.
I can feel that wind coming in here.
Well, that field hockey game tonight might pose some problems, but we'll set momentarily. Still a little bit of sunlight, mostly cloudy.
Well, the good thing is I got a red sweatshirt. That's really the most important thing. Got to wear red on a code red night.
That's right. Hopefully a few other faces show up on the far side. The track should be packed. Fun contest. The code red games were mostly situated at the front of team schedules this year, and every team gets to choose their own game, so wasn't exactly a committee effort. Volleyball had their code red game as their season opener at home. 5-set defeat versus Randolph-Macon. This women's soccer squad already played theirs as well with Washington and Lee. Here's some more play on the far side. Paulette doing well, but not enough, as Candace Johnson has stuck closely. Here comes Lynchburg. Oh, great fake by Wampler. She has space, goes with the left foot, and Kroons will gather untouched.
You know, we talk about the Code Red game that we've got tonight. We also have to, you've mentioned a couple times about homecoming this weekend. That's another event that is just a fantastic atmosphere for the whole day, not just maybe a couple hours for the game that could be going on, but it's 3 games played here on Schellenberger Field, and it's just constant fan participation down on the track, even behind the press box, as the parking lots are always packed full of alumni, students that go here now, athletes, parents. It's just a fantastic atmosphere that it feels like, makes you feel like you're at home when you're here at Lynchburg.
That's right. You get to watch a game with a couple hundred of your friends. You got to enjoy that atmosphere, and we know that it only seems to get better and bigger here at Lynchburg. It's been such a fun experience. This Lynchburg women's soccer team takes its place on the slate at 4:30 on Saturday. Don't miss that one versus Randolph-Macon and what could be a huge contest for ODAC implications later in the season. You've got other events as well, Hall of Fame dinner, alumni games, you name it. Paulette's shot takes a late deflection. Or rather, it looks like it was not Katie Paulette. We'll get a read on that as Lynchburg has a corner either way. That was Tegan Casey, number 5, not number 6 for the Hornets. So Lacey Garner runs to the flag. Final 10 minutes. You have to think the Hornets are comfortable holding the result where it's at. It is about reps, though, as we've said. You want to keep it polished. We'll see what Lacey Garner can do. Low cross. Straight over the goal line, and it's a goal kick for the Cougars.
You really want to think how's Todd Olson going to react. I'm intrigued. I'm interested to see how him and his players are going to react to 500th win. That doesn't come along very often, if ever.
Well, Coach Todd Olson, too, is somebody who is always giving the compliments elsewhere, right? He's just a stand-up man. He'll obviously look to his squad and his coaching staff for a lot of what they do and what the collective group has accomplished, but there's just so much history, and I think he's not done writing that book yet. Still a lot left in the Coach Olson journey. Lauder takes a shot outside. I think a 5-0 victory, too, is a very different reaction than maybe getting that walk-off or like the tie against WNL. I think that Coach Olson is going to appreciate what his squad has done today, especially when you look at the possession, you look at how this team has operated. Maybe just trying to address some of the question marks from early in the season. I think Lynchburg has done well checking the boxes.
It also could be another edge that Lynchburg has against this team in this game. I mean, it makes them want to win more. Makes them want to win for their coach. They play for their coach. They love every bit of him. And they're doing it today. 5-0 is not an easy feat for any soccer team.
Lauder took a shot, just evades the net, and so Averett heads the other way. A Cougar squad that has 1 clean sheet on the season, and though they haven't held an opponent scoreless since, their record is still a lot more favorable. 3-6-2, and 2-3 in conference play. Coming off a win streak, you know that they are ready to pounce, and they're going to do what they can to rebound after this one. By no means does one game on the road dictate the rest of the season. This is a tough place to play, and Lynchburg has certainly brought a little bit of energy. Here comes Zirkle. Down to the goal line. Cross goes in. Averett has to be careful. Took up residence right on the line, and we saw Kroons just go to the ground and what felt like It was a prime time save.
It's all about damage control now for Averett. With just under 8 minutes left, it's damage control. You want to make sure that the lead stays at where it's at. Maybe adding another goal, giving your team confidence in the next game.
It's all about setting the table now. Here's Maddie Olson. Sends it back. Hornets continue to rotate. Flag will go up, though, on that far side as the ball was over the line. Throw on the far side. And now Lynchburg has more space again. Zirkle out wide, footwork just disconnects. Hornets might have a second chance though. 30 in white, looking to the line. Another good cross that stays on the ground. Hornets will have another throw. Ethan, an interesting stat when you look at Lynchburg's season and some of the opponents they've played at the right or maybe wrong times. 4 of their last 5 opponents have entered the match coming off a win. And it just feels like when you go into conference play, you want to play teams that are maybe struggling or not exactly offering their A-plus stuff. But the Hornets haven't beaten opponents that are limping. They're playing them at their best.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Going into any conference game, you want to play teams when they're at their lowest point. But it's really encouraging for this Lynchburg team. Like you said, they're playing teams and they're beating teams that are coming off of victories. It's just even more confidence for this team and the coaching staff. They know their players can do it. Coming off of wins, beating teams, especially 5-0 after beating this Averett team who's on a 2-game win streak. It's just the utmost confidence from this team.
Well, so much to consider at this stage. Only 1 loss in the last 6 matches. Looking to make that 7 if this result holds on. And then even looking at last time out against Randolph. You get season highs and goals, shots, corners, you name it. This offense is starting to fuel and stay on the right wave. It's a Lynchburg team that has so much more to offer. Wampler. Through ball opportunity on the far side. Paulette still searching, and it will be a foul with 5 minutes to go.
Yeah, we see her calling for the ball at the end there. She did have some open space, pass a little too far. She timed her run just a tad wrong. Really good idea from Lynchburg there.
So if you're just joining us, this will be win number 500 for Dr. Todd Olson. Obviously excited and really just blessed to be able to celebrate the success of the program and what he has brought to the table. Conversation with the athletic director, John Waters, on the sideline right now. You wonder if it's even about that or if it's just some of the topics that come along with the season. It is a long season, and both of these teams likely starting in August. You got your off-season training as well. All just trying to make a big-time moment come postseason time.
I think it's only fitting that Coach Todd Olson gets his 500th win just 24 hours, under 24 hours before the Hall of Fame dinner. Maybe kind of foreshadowing a little bit for him.
Well, there was a time as well where you weren't certain that it would even happen at home, because Lynchburg winning its last 2 matches could have done it if they got a win versus Roanoke, or you look a little bit earlier in the schedule. And so it is fitting to be able to not only do it now, but do it at home. Coach Olson obviously residing in Lynchburg. It just makes it feel like home for everybody.
Like you said, timing is key, and we got really lucky that we get to see a 5-0 performance here at home for Lynchburg for the 500th career win. Like we've said multiple times, we just can't stress about how fantastic and amazing this feat is for any coach. And we're lucky enough to have it here at the University of Lynchburg.
Well, Lynchburg also a place that is no stranger to coaches with extended histories and big runs. If you've paid attention to Lynchburg's field hockey squad and what Coach Enza Steele accomplished in her tenure between being a lacrosse coach and a field hockey coach, there's just so much to appreciate on the coaching staffs. And, you know, even when you look at the other side for Averett, Coach Colton Duchess, who has really just played match number 12 in his head coaching career, there's just a lot of inspiration out there. Here's Zirkle, a tap that somehow finds its way back to Kroons. Tic-tac-toe ends up in the goalie's gloves. But a good run, and Lynchburg was threatening for a 6th. Olsen goes down in the midfield. She is the daughter of the man on your screen, Coach Todd Olsen. We mentioned John Waters earlier on the left. Win number 500 upcoming. You can see yourself on the board at Schellenberger Field as well. And so you wonder, especially if you are in the student section on a Code Red night, you wonder if your appearance will eventually be displayed to all of Schellenberger Field and the crowd.
Well, that was just such a, getting this Jumbotron was such a gift from an alumni here. You don't really often see Jumbotrons at any Division III school, and we're so lucky to have one here. We have an amazing crew putting an amazing Jumbotron graphic up there. You get to see the score, you get to see what's going on during the stream. You obviously don't get to hear it, but it's really, we're so lucky here at this campus to have an amazing opportunity like having Jumbotron from Coach Waters.
Garner's shot deflected. Cougars can take over, but this will obviously go down as a Lynchburg win. A big one when you look at this stage of the season. Continuing their unbeaten streak, extending it out to 4 games and hopefully counting for this Lynchburg squad. And is celebrating perennial success. And Coach Todd Olsen now just seconds away from win number 500. Already in the top 5 among active coaches in this women's soccer landscape. That goes across all divisions. He'll be happy to get this one today, but happy to do it with his squad and this culture as the Hornets will cruise to a 5-0 victory. And Coach Todd Olsen with everybody on his coaching staff for the quick celebrations. Ethan, it's something you don't see every single season. You might not even see it in a few decades on a campus like this. You never know when the history is going to arrive, but really just offering congratulations to the man on your screen, Dr. Todd Olsen.
Well, like you said, it doesn't happen every day. It doesn't happen every decade. Moments like this you have to cherish, and it will be cherished here at Lynchburg for the rest of this campus's history. I'm sure his name will be inducted into the Lynchburg Hall of Fame. That's just an estimated guess from me, but 500 wins, just something you don't see every day. And these players, his previous players, his future players are all in such great hands. We're in such great hands here, as like you mentioned earlier, he is a doctor here. He teaches exercise physiology classes in that manner. He's just someone that you love having on campus, and it's such a gift. You don't have people like that, and I'm not just talking about as a coach. You don't have people who is just loved around by not just players or athletes or the athletic director on this campus, but the dean, the president. Everybody on this campus loves Coach Todd Olsen, and you cherish someone like that on this campus.
You work for years to have a culture like this. You just hope that the buy-in from the entire group is matched, and Dr. Todd Olsen every single year just brings the same energy, and it's so much fun to get to celebrate him today. Even go ahead and talk to him, you know, in the preseason or throughout the season, and he will just be so honest and open with you and one of the great personalities here at Lynchburg. So extending our congratulations to Dr. Olson and the entire coaching staff as they continue to roll on through the season. Lynchburg topples Averett 5-0 here on a cloudy afternoon in the Hill City. It's a big-time result, and as we head into homecoming weekend, it just feels like, Ethan, that there's a lot left to prove for this Lynchburg team. They're not done yet.
No, absolutely not. And winning a game 5-0 tonight against Averett. Averett, again, not a bad team here. They have shown glimpses of success. Had 2 wins going into this game. It's so much to look forward to, and with homecoming coming up for this Lynchburg soccer team, you have so much to look forward to. A lot of people are going to be watching you, especially in such a big game. Home field advantage is really going to play a part in that game against Randolph-Macon.
We'll buckle up, fans. We're not done yet, and we're nowhere close. A lot left to play here in the Hill City, but Lynchburg gets it done tonight versus Averett, 5-0. On behalf of the entire LHSN crew, our director, Josh Smith, he is Ethan Moratsky, and I am Evan Gates saying so long from the Hill City.